want to list energy leaks that I notice inside of me. By energy leaks, I mean diversions of energy, often unconscious, that divert me from the path of complete awareness in the moment. Diversions, detractions from the awareness in this moment. From the awareness. And some common ones I find are one of them is a fixation on something else. Like if I'm told by my mom to clean my room and I am sweeping the floor, getting the dust out, and that's not really where my heart is, but what I actually would like to do is to play video games. Then my mind may be occupied with that, thinking about video games and thinking about how I would play in the video games, wanting to do something else. If I actually want to do something else while I'm doing something in the moment, so then one can be easily detracted and reminded to think, oh, don't I want to do that instead? Why am I not doing that? Just doing this, continuing to be doing what is in the moment, in one's mind somewhere else. The energy is leaking out towards that imaginary moment. It divides our attention, perhaps our body and part of our awareness, part of our motor habits are in this moment accomplishing the task in the physical sense, and we may not want to do that, and our mind is pulling us away, like a 10-year-old who wants to go and play video games. So there's the leak of wanting to do something else, wanting to do something different, wanting to be somewhere different, and not being satisfied with where I am. Does this room have a door? It does not. Okay. Yes, wanting to be somewhere I'm not, if I'm not satisfied with the place I am, or the situation I'm in, and I imagine myself somewhere else and feel like, maybe I could be there instead. That feels like an energy leak. There is the energy leak of wanting to finish quickly. That is when I find myself experiencing frequently. I was just cutting an apple, minutes ago, and I was cutting it, and it might have been the rush of wanting to finish it quickly. It may have been also another detractor that I thought. However, I was not completely aware while I was cutting my apple, and I cut my thumb very slightly, very, very slightly. It seems like it's not even visible anymore. Yay, it already stopped the blood. Woohoo. However, there was a little blood trickling out, and I was marking my apple all over the plate, around it with my blood. Rush is a leak of energy. Dissatisfaction. Not the satisfaction itself. The satisfaction itself, it does not need to be a leak. It's often dissatisfaction makes one leak out into somewhere else. Because, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this. Or, boom, my mind goes somewhere else. They feel, I'm better here. And thing that I actually feel like I want to do, or the place I feel I actually feel I want to be, or with the person I want to be. Daydreams. They divert our energy. One of them is also, am I doing this well enough? I don't know if I'm doing this well enough. Maybe someone else knows how to do this better than me. I don't know. And I'm there cutting the apple and thinking, I don't know if this is the right way. It doesn't feel right. Feeling a little unworthy of doing the task, not being sure if I'm doing it right. And then the leak happens in the moment that we feel that our action in that moment is unworthy. Because when we feel that, we are no longer placing our attention on it. Why would we do not place our attention entirely on something that is unworthy? When we believe something is unworthy, there are pieces of us that will immediately strive to find the missing parts. Okay, what is it that actually makes it worthy? Or who makes it worthy? Where can I find the right answer? Unworthiness. Fixation on the result. Fixation on a result and something being done by a certain time or with a certain quality. And being unsure about whether that's going to happen, and us feeling like, it's got to be done in 10 minutes. We only have 10 minutes to do it, and I don't know if I can do it. And then there's rush, tuck, 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 tuck. And at that moment, we are not aware of what we are doing. We are aware of the goal, which is different. The thing that is happening is this thing. It's happening right here. Everything is right here. What is happening right here? Whether the task is finished at a certain time or whether the task is finished in the way that I expected, that I wanted, is outside of the moment. mean, we can include it in the moment by thinking about it and by focusing on it. Yeah, I would say that keep having it in the moment is also feels, it can also be wholesome. Knowing, yes, if we integrate the focus into our actions, the focus of, oh, I want this to be done at a certain time, it feels wholesome. Yes, that's part of it. What occurs, what I'm referring to with a leak of energy is that there's sometimes fear. When we feel fear that something is not going to be finished at a certain time, or that it's not going to meet my expectations or the expectations of someone else, and there's fear, and then that diverts our attention. So there's rush. There is, actually, it's another case of fear of unworthiness. Rush is a leak of energy, which is actually just us being afraid of not doing something in time. So it's being afraid of not fulfilling an expectation. They seem to, the cases I was talking about, they all seem to collapse into the statement, there's a leak of energy, when we feel fear that our expectation will not be met. And sometimes our expectation is to meet someone else's expectation. It's important, though, to recognize that it goes through us. If getting something finished in 10 minutes is that person's expectation, and I don't accept that expectation, then it doesn't really matter. It's not ours. When we accept that expectation, and when we feel, okay, yeah, that's that I want to adopt that expectation for myself, that's when it matters, because then it's ours. So yeah, they seem to collapse into that. Another one I find myself often having is I am experiencing a moment, and my mind is happy, sometimes describing what is happening in the moment, and it comes up like words pop up here, pop there, a word, a sentence, a phrase, an analogy. And sometimes I just like some of these that come up, and I'm like, oh, this analogy, oh, this is cool, I want to say it, I want to record it. And my energy is leaking out right there. I've diverted my energy from this thing that I am doing now, this situation, into I want to ensure that this thought that is now in my mind does not get lost. And in that moment, I am feeling a fear of it being lost. First of all, I'm feeling an excitement about it existing, an urge to record it. Subsequently, it can be that there's a fear of losing it, of not recording it. And if we allow, if we accept that fear, if we accept that fear, then our energy leaks into it. Because we will give it energy into the, we will give energy to the goal of not getting lost, of that, of those words, those phrases, that description, that analogy. Do not get lost. So I would be diverting energy to repelling situations where the words get lost, which means that I will be feeling this pull to record these words, like I am doing now. Leaks. They're all flows. We just choose which ones we take. A distraction in us causes us to lose traction of our experience.